Mr. Wehrum, do you believe with high confidence that human activity is a major driver of climate change?
Senator, I'm sorry. Your question was I didn't.
Do you believe with high confidence that human activity is a major driver of climate change?
I think human activity contributes to climate change, Senator. Yes.
Do you believe it's when you say yes? Do you believe it's the major driver of climate change?
I believe that's an open question, Senator.
That is certainly the type of answer that we hear continuously. That's the coached answer that the Koch brothers are asking people to sow this uncertainty. And so we have seen that in answer after answer that comes before this committee, such as statements from Mr. Pruitt, statements from Mr. Tillerson, statements from Mr. Perry, all citing this, oh, we're just not sure if it's significant or not. Maybe it's contributing, but we're just not sure if it's significant. So let's take a look at the NASA charts. I'm going to put up a chart that shows NASA's evaluation of the contribution of solar energy. We see the yellow line on this chart, the flat line that goes across, virtually no variation over the course of 125 years. And we see the enormous variation in the climate. Do you see any correlation, significant correlation between the yellow line and the black line?
Senator, I have no idea what that depicts.
Well, I just explained it to you, so let's try it again. I think you're supposed to have a background capable of understanding this sort of thing. Solar energy, temperature of the planet, NASA statistics. Does there appear to be any correlation between those two lines?
Senator, I'll respond to you as I did to the questions on the renewable fuel standard. These are very complex issues, and they're very important issues, and I understand that they're important to you. So
okay, thank you. We'll go on to the next question, because anyone slightly familiar with statistics would say a flat line and a rising line do not show correlation. Another argument is that volcanic activity, the Earth's orbit, as well as solar activity contribute. That's what NASA has compiled collectively under the bottom chart. We have the natural factors, those three that I just summarized, and then we have the rising temperature in the black line. Does there appear to be any correlation in this case?
Again, Senator, I'll say I'm not familiar with those data. I have no idea what it shows.
Okay. Well, if you can't read a chart, are you qualified to have this role?
Senator, what's important is to understand the data underlying the depiction, and I've had no opportunity to see those data or understand how they've been depicted. So
you've been working in air pollution for these decades, and you have no acquaintance with data related to the warming of the planet or the factors that contribute to that?
Senator, all I said is I have no idea what data contribute to the depiction on those charts.
Let's turn to the third chart then. NASA has compiled a third chart. This one again shows the rising temperature in the same color in black, and it shows the rising greenhouse gas emissions. Can you, without great familiarity, acknowledge that these lines generally track each other?
Once again, Senator, I'm not familiar with those data. I have no idea what it depicts.
No, but you can see the lines. Do the lines track each other?
What's important, Senator, is to know how the data are depicted, understanding the underlying data and understanding the...
Yes, it is, but I'm just asking you a question. Can you see those two lines, and do they generally track each other?
Well, again...
Okay, thank you. What we have seen is this Koch brother-inspired determination not to acknowledge even the most fundamental facts and continuous excuses that perhaps the temperature of the planet is going up because of solar activity. Oh, no, wait, maybe it's volcanic activity. But when NASA presents the information that shows there's no correlation from those factors and extensive correlation from carbon dioxide and other global warming gases, individuals like you simply refuse to acknowledge it. Why should the American people put into an office of significant influence someone who refuses to look at the facts directly that are so important to the health of this planet?
Senator, as I said a second ago, these are complex issues and very important issues, and I admit myself, if confirmed, to to speak
Do
with
you
you
think
about your
on such a
concerns and
serious,
your cons-
so in Oregon, we have lost 1 billion oysters due to the increasing acidity of the ocean. That's caused by carbon dioxide becoming carbonic acid. Are you familiar with this problem? Yes or no? You're familiar with the increasing acidity of the
oyster
ocean?
industry in Oregon, no, sir.
Are you familiar with the increasing acidity of the ocean?
I understand there's an allegation that...
Oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. Really? Are
No, I understand there's an allegation.
You're in this field and you have never read anything about the increasing acidity of the ocean? Well, how about the fact that we have a fire season that's 2 months longer than it was 40 years ago? Are you familiar with the growing length of the fire season?
I have never
Are you familiar with the extending range of pine beetles that are having a devastating impact on our forests and creating an area that you can fly over called the red zone?
Yeah, as I said, Senator,
are you familiar with the decreasing snowpack in the Cascades? All of these things, no one can look at what is happening on the planet and see that there is nothing happening unless you're deliberately determined to ignore that information. And that makes you really, quite frankly, unacceptable to serve in this capacity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.